A storm is sweeping through the desert of my creation. But before we get to the storm, let's rewind to the beginning. Through all of the mistakes, 620 pounds of substrate, and layer after layer after layer of material. After all that, we get back to the beginning. And that's where we start creating Ackrakkas. It's time to break out the power tools. I first started by measuring, clamping, and cutting all the OSB board that would be the walls of this enclosure. Next, I started securing the 2x3s to the walls. And of course, every tool is a hammer. If you know, you know. I then mounted my 3 walls to the base. I put the lid on, and now we have a box. In all seriousness, I felt so accomplished to get the frame done. How little did I know how much more this project would ask of me. And with that screw, the frame is done. From here, I needed to coat the entire inside in extreme dry lock to help waterproof the OSB board. 3 coats were all that were needed at the beginning because it was, as you will see, going to get quite a few more. I used number 1 silicone to seal all of the corners on the inside of the entire enclosure. And right about here, if I could go back in time, I would say use gloves. Silicone does not like to come off your fingers. See, I learned my lesson. I am now cutting to shape the foam backboard that will be used as an anchor point for my ledges and for my foam texturing. Some liquid nails was used to glue the backing to the enclosure, and I added some screws to the back for extra security. The extra foam was broken and cut apart and then glued back together to start creating my slate looking rock. To finish off this look, I took my foam hot knife and cut ledges or ridges into the foam. Toothpicks were stuck into the ledges, which were then stuck into the backing wall to help hold the ledges in place. Spray foam was used to further cement the ledges to the wall so that they weren't relying on toothpicks to hold their weight. The foam was then sprayed to the backing to help create a texture that would look like rock later on. Unfortunately, when the spray foam cures, it's bubbly and shiny and looks nothing like rock. So, I took this steel brush and put it in my drill and began to shave down the spray foam backing, and you can see it creates quite a bit of foam snow, as I'll call it. Now I have to admit, until this point, this project was beginning to wear on me, and I call this the turning point. Mixing up this grout and putting it on the back is something that made me start to feel like I was getting close to the end, and it helped me, when the grout dried, to see the potential of my finished project. When I was applying the grout, I used more of a slurry. I kept it thin, and then I applied it to all the surfaces of the foam, and wherever there was maybe holes in the foam, I made sure to put extra so it would sink in, seep in, and fill everything in. As I stated before, it was at this point that I started to really get the feeling that my work was coming to fruition, and I was really getting excited about the project again. Remember when I said that that wasn't going to be the last layer of dry lock? Well, here we go. Many, many, many more layers are on their way. Seeing this color, which was supposed to be brown, looking almost like rubbery clay, really got me concerned, and I'm gonna be honest, despair started to set in, like, all this work, and did I really mess this up with the wrong base color? Now I knew I was gonna cover it up with other colors, but I was really concerned that this base color would mess everything up. Luckily, that wasn't the case. Now here is where my mistake came into play. I did not plan for a nesting box in this build, and for days I was struggling with the decision of whether or not to include one, because it meant going back and undoing some done work in order to make a nesting box that would work well. In the end, I decided to go for it.
It's not in yet. It's in now. Can you?
Shoot. And really, I won't even know if it was a mistake to add it for quite some time, because right now we only are keeping one animal in there, and for a nesting box to be used, we kind of need two. So I'm mixing just a little bit more grout here, and the purpose is to pour it down my tunnel to give the animals some texture to grab onto so they can more easily crawl in and out of the nesting box tunnel. And this piece of plastic is the final piece for the outside of the tank to make it look black instead of just staring at that ugly OSB board all the time. And just like any project, the closer you are to the finish, the more you feel like you're gonna get it done, and then something comes that is harder than anything you've done before, and that was this soil. 620 pounds worth of it going into the tank and the nesting box. Now while I'm filling it up with dirt, I wanted to take a minute to talk now so I don't interrupt the awesomeness that is about to be shown. This project was so amazing, and it really turned out just like I was hoping. I was almost in tears when I saw the audio come together, like you'll see in just a moment with the reveal of the enclosure. So I'm going to stop talking for the rest of the reveal, and I'll talk to you on the other side. Hey, this is Gojira, our Red Ackie monitor, and we want to know what your favorite part of this video was. Leave a comment for us below. And please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell.